Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FighterHeart podcast. I'm Joe, and I'm sitting here with Christopher. How's it going, Chris?
All is good, and I'm excited to be here on the show. So thank you.
Yes, we're definitely excited to have you here. So what we like to do, we like to get started right away. We get into it real quickly. So if you could give us a brief description about who you are, maybe a little of your upbringing, and then just get right into your FighterHeart story.
Absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Christoffer Lindhe. As you can see, I'm a triple amputee since a train accident actually 18 years ago. And today I'm working with a company that develops prosthetic devices to help myself, but also others out there living with limb loss.
Oh, wow. So you grew up, I didn't, in the beginning, you said you grew up in Sweden?
Yes, so I'm Swedish. I still live in Sweden, and by the age of 17, it was summer, and me and some friends, we were out having a good time. I'm walking home, and this particular night, I'm being followed by three guys, and I'm not sure what happened, but when the last thing I remember is remember that I will try to shake them off. So no clue what happened, but I think that I've outran these guys, and when I'm running, I'm crossing some train tracks, falling, hit my head badly, so it crushes my forehead and pass out with both the legs still up on the train tracks.
So you were running away from three guys that were chasing you, what, to rob you or something?
I have no clue. I walked home alone, as I said, and yeah, these guys are following me, and this area is where I'm walking is a little bit sketchy. Then the last decision that I take is just that I can continue walk straight ahead and then take a right turn, and then I will end up in downtown, this small city in Sweden. But after this decision, I have no clue what's happened. So actually, I'm not sure.
What was the next thing you remember after you woke up?
So I'm waking up at the hospital approximately 10 days after this accident, and everything is kind of foggy, and I just see my parents leaning over this hospital bed. Everything is very bright, and they're telling me that I've been in a train accident. And then I just pass out once again due to all the painkillers that I get at this point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you passed out again for what, a few more days?
Yeah, and this entire in the beginning after this accident, everything is kind of so I got a lot of morphine, and getting these types of doses creates everything kind of foggy. So my first clear memory is actually after an entire month after this accident. Then I'm waking up still in the same hospital bed, and everything is just I by then understand everything, that I lost both my legs, and at this height that the left arm is totally gone. And it felt like I went from being this 17-year-old kid with hardly no limitation and yeah, could do anything, to being living in the hospital and hardly could go from lying on my back to lying on my side. So that was a really hard time for me, just realizing that.
What was the diagnosis the doctor gave you, the first conversation you remember?
It was something kind of like, you will spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. You will have a lot of time in the hospital, and you can't do as much as you used to do. And yeah, it was kind of depressing, to be honest.
Of course, I'm sure, yeah. And in the beginning, it's a big shock. So
Absolutely.
what was your mindset? Because you were a young kid at that time. So what were you thinking?
So the turning point at this point, I had no clue how to even continue, and I believe this doctor, and I believe that I will spend the majority of the rest of my days in this particular hospital bed, and I will need aid for everything. And it was not the life that I wanted. But the turning point actually came that yeah, let's say 1.5 months, maybe 2 months after my accident, my dad comes into my hospital room, and in his hand he has this like VHS tape, if you remember those.
Yeah.
And on it, it was a TV recording of an American guy called Cameron Clapp. He has very similar amputations like myself. He had also been in a train accident, and he had been on Swedish television like a few months before my accident. And in this show, he shows he's walking, he's living his life with prosthetics. And I usually say that this is the biggest turning point in my whole entire rehabilitation. Just seeing someone else being in the same situation and how he managed.
So how did things change from the day after you saw the video? And aside from your mindset, did you start like rehabbing in a different way?
Yeah, so before my accident, I was a competitive swimmer. And after I saw this videotape, my competitive mind like told myself, if Cameron can do this, you can also do it. So then it was when I saw the tape, I wasn't at rehab already. So I first of all managed to get into the rehab, and then just increase my weights and listen to my physiotherapist, absolutely. But I did 2 or 3 times as much as she said.
What was the initial rehab process like? Like, can you run me through a day in the life of what you would have to do each day?
Yeah, so at this point I lived at the hospital, so I wake up at the hospital. First of all, getting up, getting some breakfast in, and then down to the gym area and doing some exercises, and then it was stretching time after that. We had some also like with prosthetics and prosthetic setup and all of those. Usually, as I was a competitive swimmer before, I tried to squeeze in some swimming also as much as possible. And then it was lunch, some resting, and by the afternoon it was a new set of kind of the similar like the morning sessions. And then it just repeated day after day, which made that I managed to leave the hospital approximately half a year after my accident, which was much quicker than the doctors anticipated.
I got you. So 6 months of doing the same kind of rehab over and over at the hospital.
Yes.
And how did things change after you got out of the hospital? I'm sure you had more rehab, right?
Absolutely. So the rehab continued, but I would say the big thing was that I got back to swimming. That was my main thing. I'm from a small city, and as I said, I was a competitive swimmer. So actually, I was the champion of their team before my accident. So getting back to my old team, and they just took me in with open arms, and getting back to swimming exercise again. And I was not the champion anymore, but I was instead. We came up with a solution that I exercised together with the 10-year-olds, and by this I was 17, almost 18. But these 10-year-olds, they were actually a little bit quicker than myself with just one arm. So that was an excellent exercise, because I really need to put in some effort to keep up with these 10-year-olds throughout the 2-hour exercise.
Yeah,
So
and
that's a really good setup.
the competition probably helped you too. You wanted to win.
Definitely.
Yeah. So where did when did you eventually get an arm and 2 legs to have on there? But what are they called? Prosthetics.
Prosthetics, yes. So actually, it took some time. So I got my prosthetics and got up and started walking at indoors and at rehab, of course. And everything like works, but in the beginning, I had some big issues with my left leg. So eventually, I needed an additional surgery on this one to get that fixed for prosthetic use. And when I had that surgery, that was made in 2008, same year as I was in the Paralympic Games in Beijing. And when I got home from these games, then everything started working, and I got up on my prosthetics and could start spending entire days with prosthetic use instead of wheelchair use.
And I assume these are upgraded since then, right? these?
Absolutely. So every 3 or 5 years, the warranty is out, and then it's time for an upgrade. Absolutely.
How long did it take for you to adjust to having prosthetics?
So I think in the beginning, as I said, I watched the tape of Cameron, and that really inspired me. And at that point in life, I just believed, just give me these prosthetics, and I will be up, and will be walking, and all of that. It doesn't really go that fast. So you need to first settle with the sockets and get everything adjusted, and then you need some calibration to the mechanics or electronics, actually, also to the knees and such. So it's a process, and I would say it takes maybe a year, maybe even 2 years to get all that set.
So then you were able to swim with them right away, or how does that work with swimming?
So yeah, so swimming, that was kind of funny, actually, because the first time I ever went down in the pool again after this accident, and that was a part of the rehab, because I've lost such a big portion of my original body. Just getting down in the water and be secure in the water. So this particular day, I had no clue how things would turn out. And I'm using my wheelchair, rolling into this pool area, and the guy that works at the pool, he said, like, our lift, it's broken today, so you need to dive into the pool. And I'm like, I don't know if I will sink or float, but I managed to get myself down to the floor at the pool level, and I'm not sure I dived in, but I fall in or something. And I'm slowly like sinking towards the bottom of this pool, and then I just take one stroke with this arm in the water, and it's like immediately I feel like, aha, this is how it works. I get up to the surface, and I can immediately swim all 4 different swim courses, and it's like, I usually compare it like it's like riding a bike. I'm not sure how I do it. And I'm not sure why I'm not going around in a circle, but I'm feeling more how to pull the water to swim in a straight line and swim as fast as I can.
Did you already know right at that moment that you wanted to do it competitively, like in the Paralympics and whatnot?
Yeah, kind of. At least I understood immediately that I want to spend much more time in the water, because also in water I'm weightless, and it was almost like I forgot about my disability. So it was like I was transferred back to the old Christoffer, and that was so amazing. So from that point, I knew that I will at least spend a lot of time in the water. And I remember that I also thought about starting competitively once again as well.
So when did you realize, like, wow, I'm pretty good actually, like that you could be very good at this?
So I think that was somewhere around when I exercised with these 10-year-olds. Then as I said, I kept up with them, even though it was a hard work. And I'm also doing my first competition as a disabled swimmer. And on that competition, I took a new created a new Swedish record within my class of disabled swimming or adaptive swimming. And by then I knew I will focus on this, because here I have an opportunity to hopefully go to the Paralympic Games.
So I guess to kind of get on a timeline, so you were about 18 when you first started, right?
Yes.
And you said you got your prosthetics soon after. So when how old are you now?
So I'm 35.
Been like 15
yes,
years
so,
of building up.
yes, so it's been a few years. So absolutely, walking like this, I did not walk like this at the age of even at the age of 20. So this has been a constant journey that evolves all the time, and I get better and still get better and better and manage more and more situations with these prosthetics. So I usually say that this is a lifelong commitment, and I will continue learning and continue to try new things and also try new devices. And that was the whole reason why I founded this company also, that I felt like I'm really limited, first of all, with the prosthetic feet that I'm using. Must be possible to make something so I can be more active and more outdoor. And that led to this whole creation as well.
Can you kind of explain the company you created and what
Absolutely.
it's about? Yeah.
Yeah, so the company is called Lindhe Extend, and what we do is that we do develop prosthetic devices. So I have a master degree as an engineer, and the first product, the Extend Foot, was born at the university. And the whole idea of this is that the human foot can really adapt to all kinds of unevenness. A prosthetic foot, in comparison, is very stiff, so it can't adapt to the surface that we are stepping on. And when we are stepping on unevenness, and if the foot then can't adjust to that, that creates like a momentum force. So I'm losing my balance due to that the foot can't adapt. So then we at the university created a new prosthetic foot that mimics the human foot much more and adapts with the help from the body weight to the surface that we are stepping on. So a totally mechanical solution.
How does it do that? Is there like springs in it maybe to have some give or something?
Exactly. So it's a spring construction of fiber composites. So we combine both carbon fiber and glass fiber. So they both have different properties where they are suited best. So we have optimized those to be as flexible as possible. So when I'm walking and walking in outdoor, stepping on unevenness, I don't have to think anymore. The foot just adapts from my body weight and like twists regarding to the unevenness that it's loading on. So it's like a leaf spring that can bend in all directions, you could say.
Oh, very cool. Is that your only product right now? Do you also do any other body parts?
So yeah, the foot was the initial product, and then we also a few years later developed like a quick connect and disconnecting system for prosthetics. So the idea with prosthetics is that you have one, in my case, pair of prosthetic legs for regular, one for like sports, one for like water activity. So all these kinds of prosthetics, setups for different applications. But they are quite bulky and it's quite hard work to just change in between of these. And that's when we came up with that, why not just have a quick connector so I can keep the socket on my leg and just release the knee, for example, and put on like a running blade for those kind of activities, or a water prosthetic leg down below. Or it could also be just putting pants on and off, putting trousers or pants onto prosthetics like this, where the foot is in a set angle. It's really hard work. So then you can just disconnect the foot, pull the pants on, and connect the foot once again. So just makes living with prosthetics easier.
Very cool. When did you create this company?
So it was founded in the year 2013. So that is 11 years ago. So the years is really running by. But it's been a fantastic journey, and it's my dream job, like working with prosthetic solutions that really helps and enhance my capabilities with prosthetics. And that's a dream come true for me.
And you're the perfect person to create a company like this because you know all the pain points of what you have to go through each day. So you know how to fix it the most. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's waking up at the hospital, 3 limbs are gone. I never saw this coming up like that. It's for in my situation nowadays, it's a benefit with 3 limbs gone. So yeah.
Oh yeah, see, most people wouldn't say that, right? I don't think so. So that's so let me back up a little bit. When was your first professional event after the accident, and I guess swimming event?
Oh, so the first professional that was in yeah, let's see. It depends on how you define. So the first Paralympics games in Beijing was in September 2008, the Summer Games in Beijing. But of course, I were in a couple of smaller events qualifying for the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, I
But
guess
that
that's
was,
what I mean.
yeah. So those events were in, let's see, I think they were in the beginning of 2009, I mean 2008. And then there were a couple in the beginning of 2008. And by April or May, I qualified for the Paralympic Games to Beijing in 2008.
Were you nervous? What kind of thoughts were going through your head for your first one, your first qualifier?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't believe it was possible even to qualify. So the national team coach, he said like, no way, you don't have the time for it. You need some more exercise and all of this. But I just set my mind off. I want to go to these games. And I remember a specific competition in Denmark. And on this competition, there's a Dutch guy that I'm competing against. And he's ranked number 10 in the world. And the national coach, he told me that you need to be top 10 in the world to get a place to the Paralympic Games. So here I am at this competition, and this Dutch guy, he's number 10. So I set my mind on beating him, and I eventually did in 200-meter freestyle.
And that automatically, after you beat the number 10 guy, you're number 10 now? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so yes, exactly. So, and with that, I also got my qualification. Without that, I wouldn't gotten my qualification to the Paralympic Games.
Wow. So are you, what kind of things do you do to prepare, like maybe like 2-3 minutes before? Do you like listen to music, or how do you get your head straight?
Yeah, that's a good question. So by this time, I really listen to music, getting my mind set on this. Nowadays, I'm more like I want to go into my own bubble. I really want to hardly focus on the issue or the competition or whatever I'm doing, and to do all those preparations in silence. But back then, I really, it was probably some hard rock or something, just getting my mind set on this goal. And also really just seeing me doing this swimming, this competition, and seeing me ending in ahead of him before it actually happens. That's also been something that I work with mentally, seeing that things happen before they actually do.
Yeah, like seeing the result that you want to have.
Yes.
Can we skip over to the Beijing games? So, I mean, were you nervous for that? You must have been, right? That was your first Paralympics?
Yeah, and that was just an amazing experience with being in the opening ceremony. It's totally sold out. I don't know, let's say 100,000 people in the arena or something. And just by then I had my wheelchair rolling into the stadium. And that was an amazing feeling. And also because like the national team coach, he said that you won't make it. And here I am, and I did make it. And that was it meant so much for myself. And also at the swimming arena, that was also sold out. I think 18,000 in that arena. The only experience similar I've had is in the London Games 4 years later. Because that was, it's Paralympics is something, totally different compared to any other.
It's every 4 years?
Yeah, so every summer games is every 4th year.
But do you do winter games too?
No, I have not.
Yeah. Are you still are you still in like ranked and stuff like that in the world?
I think I'm not anymore because I haven't done any competitive swimming since the Paralympic Games in London. And I think there's some kind of time limit, and then after that certain time limit, you're out. So I probably need to do some more competitions just to get ranked once again. But of course, I don't want to have bad results either. So then I would need to put in a lot of effort.
Of course, yeah. What is your training regimen like? Like say right before you go into London for the games, how are you training every day?
So yeah, so as quick as you are qualified, you just completely stop competing, because then you don't want to show your progress for your competition. So and by then you go into really hard training, 2 hours 2 times a day, so morning and evening, and then you're so me and my coach, we did like this. We had a sprint, that's like you do short distance, really high speed, and then you do second day is a bit longer with many different sessions, and swimming for longer courses, and then you have one more not relaxed but not as high intense, and then you just roll these over and over again, and as I said, 2 exercises a day, and then you have these 3 different that you roll in between.
Yes.
And then you just keeps on.
How did you do in the London games?
So in both Beijing and in London, I ended on the 4th place. So that was kind of a bummer. And I ending on 4th place in Beijing, I was super happy with those results, because coming into the games, I was ranked number 10, and then when I left, I was ranked number 4. And but in the London games, I had my mind clearly set on the gold medal, of course. But I ended on 4th place, and I was really angry on myself after those results. And also at the London games, I'm in a turning point in life. So at these London games, I'm walking actually on this prototype on this foot. And here I am, the games has just ended, and I'm asking myself, what will I do? Will I continue to the Paralympic Games in Rio in 4 years? Or will I see what this foot has to offer? Could it be something? I use it, so I clearly feel that it has a benefit for myself, and therefore I think that it should have a benefit for others as well. And eventually I decided to continue with the foot and not with the swimming. So as I said, I've stopped my competitive swimming sense and focused on the business instead. And that's actually a decision I've never regretted.
Yeah, of course. I can't imagine how many people you've helped with this. How many? So I guess we're coming towards the end here. So I want to know if you had a piece of advice that you would give to someone. I mean, I know your accident was very unique, but maybe someone else lost a limb or two. What's some of the biggest piece of advice you would give them to stay in the right mind state?
So it would absolutely just to keep on fighting. And I know it's really tough, and you don't get as quick results or progress as you want, and you get all kinds of setback with blisters and sores and all of that. But just keep on, and things will be better. Just you need to give it some time, and I assure you, if you keep on it, you will end up in a much better place, given with that time.
Awesome. What are your plans for the future? Anything big you can share with us?
So we have some really interesting products coming out as well. So some more feet that will be launched actually in the beginning of next year. So really looking forward to that. And besides that, we have several other developments, nothing that I can talk about, unfortunately, yet. And also we just launched a new quick adapter also for covers for all of those that want to use like a cover, so the prosthetic looks like a regular leg.
Oh, beautiful, Christoffer. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be on the show, so thank you.
Yes, we'll definitely talk to you again, and enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone else, thank you for watching another episode of Fighter Heart. We will see you again next week.